Okay, so now we're going to work on section 4.6. 4.6, we're going to solve equations of the form R times B equals A. I don't want you to get caught up on what all of this means. What we're basically going to do here is we're going to look at several word problems. We're going to translate those into algebra, and we're going to solve them the way we did in Chapter 8. R times B equal A. Guys, there are different pieces of this. R is going to be my rate, and a rate is usually set as some sort of a percent. Okay. My B is what is our base number, and our A here is equal to the amount, okay, the amount that we're going to be working with. And again, I want to define what R times B equal A is, but for the most part, I just want to talk about how to solve these problems. And to do that, I need to talk to you about some words that we use when we're solving. The first word is of, okay? Of in mathematics typically means multiply, okay? If we deal with 1/2 of 2, well, we know that that's 1, or 1/2 times 2, which is also equal to 1, okay? So of typically means multiply, and is, the word is, typically means equal. Okay, so of means multiply and is means equal. Okay? Okay, and the other thing is if we have an unknown quantity, well, if we have an unknown quantity, what do we use? We use some variable. Let's call it X or Y or Z. Again, it doesn't matter. A variable is simply a placeholder for something that I don't know. I think we can go ahead and work a few examples because really it's not too complicated in working these questions. I'm going to pull up Hawk so that you can see it, and we'll just kind of jump back and forth. Let's talk about example number 1. Okay, and my first example here is from Hawks. It says find the unknown quantity in the following percent problem using the formula R equals B, or R times B equals A. So we know blank is 108% of 561. So we have blank is 108% of 561. Let me just make sure I got that right. I do. So here we go. Okay, so the first thing is we need to know, well, I've got this unknown quantity here, so I need to know what is going to take its place. Well, if I don't know something, what do I use? Well, I use some sort of a variable. So let's call that X. Okay. Next is the word is. Blank is 108%. Well, what is? Well, we determined that is means equal. So we know that X is equal to, and then we have 108. Well, that's 108%. And then of simply means to, simply means to multiply. I'm just going to use a dot for multiply. I don't want to use your standard traditional X for multiplication because then we'll get it confused with our variable. Of 561. Okay. Well, now we just have to solve for X. Well, this makes sense now. Now, all I know that all I have to do is multiply these two values together. Now, remember that I cannot work with 108%. I actually have to convert that to a decimal. And anytime I want to convert a decimal to a percent or a percent to a decimal, if I want to convert the percent to the decimal, then I need to move my decimal places 2 places to the left. If I want to move a decimal to a percent, I need to move 2 places to the right. Okay, so I move that to the left. So that's going to give me x is equal to 1.08 times 561. So x is going to equal, you'll need a calculator here, 1.08 times 561 is going to give me 605.88. Okay, so that tells me that blank is, or 605.88 is 108% of 561. And that makes sense because I know that if I multiply by something greater than 100%, I'm going to get larger. Okay, let's work another question real quick. Well, I'll probably get this done in one video. So the next, actually I want to do one that's division. So let's do this one. 21% of what number is 823? So 21% of what number is, and that number is 823. So is 823. Okay, well, before we do any R, B times A or anything like that, we need to actually get it to where we can convert this. So let's get a new page here. I think I've got to come up here to do it. Okay, so now that I've got a new page here. Okay, so 21% of what number is 823? Okay, so let's convert this. Let's convert this to an equation. So 21%, well, let's go ahead and make that become a decimal. Remember, converting a percent to a decimal, I need to move the decimal place 2 places over. So I get 0.21. Now, what does of mean? Of is going to mean multiplication, right? So 21% of, well, what is what number? What number is my variable? So of what number is means equal. Sorry, let's do that in green. Is means equal. And then the number 823. Okay, so I'm left with this 0.21x is equal to 823. Well, how do I solve an equation like this? Well, I have a variable with a coefficient. That coefficient is 0.21. So I solve this simply by dividing by 0.21. So 0.21 divided by 0.21. It's going to get to be a pretty large number here, I suspect. Now my coefficients cancel, leaving behind an x. So x is equal to 823 divided by 0.21. So 823 divided by 0.21 is going to give me 3,919.05. 3,919.05. So I know that if I take 21% of 319,005 that's what's going to give me that number 823. I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, don't hesitate letting me know by shooting me an email or a message in Canvas. Thanks so much.